Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm Roxanne, as you know, and this is Matthew. Look who's here.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Oh,
Okay, let's get started. Now, I just want to check out everyone. It pops up from 0 to 34. There's a little delay. We want to make sure you've heard us say hello. I know. Okay, they're saying hello. Okay, so we're good. All right, Matthew, let's start.
waiting patiently. I saw somebody waiting patiently.
Yes. Well, I told them we might have a little tech issue. So they're like,
Oh,
we'll wait patiently. Start from the beginning, if you don't mind, of your like you have like this awesome life. We had Amanda Wong, she was on, and the things that she has done were amazing. And you two have crossed paths quite a bit, the two of you.
We have, yeah. Although it's weird that we've never actually had a how much can I say? So
don't say that.
no. But we were in Mystery 101. We were both in Mystery 101,
Yes,
but
yes.
we didn't have a scene together in that because
Right.
in that episode, Jill Wagner travels to a conference away.
Right.
And then, and Raise a Glass to Love, we didn't have a scene in that together either.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
So, I mean, isn't that funny? And now you're together, so in the same show, but maybe you'll have a scene together. You're not allowed to say. That just builds the anticipation, which is fine. So
Somebody posted a very funny thing on Twitter, by the way, where they said, "Please give us spoilers," and it was an Oliver Twist thing saying,
like crumbs you put on the thing. I saw that too, and I was like, "Oh goodness, that's pathetic." All right, so talk to me. I am interested. This is for me because I'm a teacher. So you're 5 years old, if my research is correct, and you're playing the piano. And I forget what the other instrument was. Was it a violin?
Violin.
And you're singing like at 5, and it's classical training. Like, how do you know that? Did you one day wake up and say, "Hello, I want to do this"? You showed an interest. Was it your family?
So my dad was a singer when he was very young.
Okay.
He was in a choir, so I think that's where my singing aspect comes from. But I started playing. My brother played the flute, and I remember we were walking past a music shop, and I think I just pointed to a violin and said, "Can I play that one?" And I think my parents saw an opportunity to say, "Sure, yeah, that's you for the next 10 years, 15 years." So,
oh my gosh.
And then when I got violin lessons, the violin teacher, who's a very nice guy called Mr. Collins, said, "You should really learn the piano as well." So I started learning both at the same time. And then I went to chorus, and then I got the short version is that I was singing at my school that I was at the time. And the music teacher said to my parents, "Matthew has a nice voice. You should send him for chorister trials at Durham Cathedral," which, by the way, is where a lot of Harry Potter was filmed.
Oh, fun fact.
And so that's when I got a scholarship to there, and I had a musical training there from about age 7 to 13.
My goodness. And so then what happened? Did it kind of like go to the side because something else became more interesting, or is it still, a passion?
Oh, music will always be a passion. And it's funny, things always seem to come around. I'm always a big believer that if you ever pursue a passion, even if it's for a short time, as long as you pursue it to a good degree, it's never a waste. It's another stitch in the tapestry of your life, as I like to say.
True. Very good.
And it all comes around, and my music ended up playing a big part in my one-man show, which I then traveled with years later. So, but it kind of took a sidestep when I went to university. So
okay, so that you were just talking about your one-man show, you were doing magic, like that in itself is amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me about this. Tell us. Share it. Come on.
Well, I was at law school.
Right.
Which
music to law to magic. Like, come on now.
Well, the thing was, there's an aspect of pickpocketing to my magic as well. So lawyer to pickpocket, it was kind of a.
Oh gosh.
So, no, it was. I was at law school and I got into magic as a hobby, and then it just became this obsession that I really got into magic and sleight of hand. And then when I graduated, I decided this was the route I wanted to take. I wanted to go down the arts side of things, and the day I graduated, I became a professional magician. And then after that, I moved to stage and then traveled I had this specific one-man show that actually incorporated the music, and that's what I traveled the world with for many years. Yeah.
So you actually developed, I guess, out of that, or that's just my thinking. You have a book, right? Matthew the Magician. Yeah,
Matthew the Magnificent. We'll look at that.
magnificent. And I couldn't hold that up because it is sold out. I could not get my hands on it. Good
I
for you,
know.
sad for me. Hold
I
that up
know.
again. Let them see that.
Well, it was the funny thing was it was such a shame because COVID kind of put a stop to the supply chain, and
Yeah.
at the time I was actually traveling around schools because there's a strong anti-bullying message in the book,
Yes.
and so we were traveling, visiting schools, doing an anti-bullying talk, and I would do a bit of magic for the kids.
Mm.
So it was nice to sort of delve back into that, and I would read from the book, and of course when COVID hit.
That was it.
Yeah.
So just a little sidebar. As a teacher, we're always looking for virtual. I know you're a busy man, but I'm just saying we're always looking for virtual sort of assemblies. People are actually doing that virtually. So if that's something you're interested in, you could always put something like that together. And hello, come visit my school. We would do that.
Let's talk about that more. Yeah, for sure. After, yeah.
Sure. Because the children love it. They're so used to now, not that they love the distraction of it because so much of it is still virtual because even though we're home, I mean, we're at school working, there's children that when they're sick, they have to be at home and they log in. So it's the next best thing. We can't, and lots of places still have assemblies and they do it virtually and they love it. It turns out nice because people can tune in from anywhere in the world, which is amazing, right?
Suddenly you're a worldwide performer.
Yes, right.
Actually, I have some magician friends who, because of COVID, they started doing virtual online shows, and it's a funny thing. You wouldn't think it was a thing, but they had ways of proving that they weren't cheating. And
Right. I think that's fascinating. Like your family gets together and they're like, we're all going it together, and then they link into something like that. It's like going to a show, but in your house. You could be in your jammies and having a good time.
You only have to see the top half. You don't.
That's right. I know. That's actually kind of scary. You gotta be careful because people have been caught with that. We've seen some like funny things. So now, okay, so you're a musician. Is that okay? Is that what we would say? What else would we say besides a musician?
Musician, yeah, I was. Yeah.
Okay, and then you become a magician, and then
and you're
I know, and you're a writer, and then of course now you're in Hallmark, and you are in quite a few of the very successful recurring series. Like even though I know you don't have a recurring role in each of them, so that's why it was my idea. I said I'm going to tell Hallmark, why can't he have his own mystery show? What if you were a magician? And you had oh my gosh, that would be so great.
Hey, if you can make that happen, I would be delighted. That would be, yeah. It's kind of out of my hands, but
I know. Now, is that just a thing? I was like wondering, are you a mystery buff? Do you say I would really like to, be on these certain series, or is it you're just auditioning and it happens?
I've just been very lucky to be part of some of the long-running shows, and it's funny. I am kind of running out of the mystery shows to be in, but it's nice because I've played different aspects of it. So I was the guy that died.
Yes.
Which is always funny because friends and family tune in to see you, and then
I know
the scene, and then
grandma has to watch that or something. I know.
Yeah. But I've been the bad guy. I've been the red herring. I've been So. Yeah, it's a lot, and there's such great shows to be on, and you often bump into the same people, which is nice as well.
Right, like we were saying about Amanda on 101, you were there, and you played, and Jill. I know Jill is an amazing actress, and Chris, I love.
So great, both of them. They're such great actors.
You'll have to go back. I'm going to write to them and tell them you have to go back and pop up again. Maybe you're Jill's ex, right? And then there is Chris, his part. I mean, his ex-wife was there. Maybe the ex-wife and you could get together.
I'd be so up for that. Yeah.
I know. I sound like my friend Chip. He always comes up with these side stories, and sometimes they're not very Hallmarkish. So I'm like, you can't share stories. No. Yeah, we're moving on from that. Do you have anything fun that stands out from all those mystery series?
I did. I did Tea Garden Mysteries.
Yes, Aurora.
And of course, with Candace Cameron Bure.
Yes.
And but Mary Lou Hanna, do you know about her talent that her memory? It's unbelievable. And being a magician, I used to do some routines where it would be involved in kind of memory work kind of thing. Nothing on that level. She was demonstrating it, and she was saying, if you give her a date, she can tell you exactly what was happening that day, etc., and give all those details. Although I did start to think, I don't have any way of proving this.
She was right.
But, no, she appeared on a program, and she had it all tested, and it's incredible. So we had a lot of fun with that. She was showing us, demonstrating stuff.
So that helps her with her lines, right?
You would hope so. You got to be careful what you say as well, because she doesn't forget.
Right. She has no problem with her lines. So now, I have to say, one of my favorite. Well, there was two Christmas movies, because I'm a big Hallmark fan of the Christmas movies since I was like young. And remember years ago, they didn't have the Hallmark channel. So they used to do those special. Are you looking at the questions? Can you see the questions?
Can you tell?
That's okay. We're going to answer all of them. It's all good. So the Hallmark, their specials, and now we have the Hallmark channel. And I am loving the Christmas House. So there's 1 and 2. Brad was on, and he's amazing. And we're like, we need to have Christmas House 3. I want number 3.
I think it should happen.
I know. And he was saying that it very, very much felt like a family. I mean, you have some wonderful actors on there. I mean, my goodness, seasoned actors that have been in everything you can imagine. And there you all are. And bravo to the whole storyline. I really think that Hallmark has, they're very inclusive. And I was talking to my students about this, because we had the word tolerance. And I was trying to explain to them what exactly that means and what it means to be inclusive. And we were talking about, and I was telling them what Hallmark was like, and then how it's changing. And that excited them, because I work in the inner city. So my students are they're mostly African American. They're also biracial. And we were just talking about how when you go to watch a show or a movie, and you don't see anybody that looks like you, or doesn't look like your family. And they're doing such a good job of changing that. So you were in that. And did you when you auditioned for the role, right? You auditioned, or what were you thinking? Were you like, yes, I want to do this? Were you excited because it was something different?
I was very excited. Having been a fan of the first movie, I was so excited to be part of it. And I was actually brought in because I think they needed, for the ex-husband, they needed somebody. That was why I was actually asked to play it British.
Okay.
That extra little bit of annoyance.
Oh, come on.
To Rob's character, because there's something about the British accent that can sometimes sound a little bit, as if you're if it's done the wrong way, it can sound a little trying to sound superior.
Yes.
So that just added to the fun of the character. But so I was extremely excited to be a part of it, because the direction they were going to, and it wasn't just the issues they were tackling. What was nice was the way they tackled some real issues. It wasn't just a little nod to certain aspects of things. Jonathan Bennett and Brad's character, they talked about some real things that they go through. So no, absolutely. I thought they handled it extremely well, and it was very, very well received as well, which I was just really happy to be part of it.
I know. I love it. What about North to Home? Holy moly, the writing of that.
Oh, good.
Do you remember, or do you know who the writer was? Because I think I looked it up.
Do you have it in your?
No, I can't think. But I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pick that person's brain. Maybe they'll come on and talk. I mean, it was amazing, and what I loved it is, I'm not really surprised with things often. And I was like, oh, I don't want to spoil it for anybody that didn't see it. They should see it. The little twist in the movie, like when we figure out who one of the characters is, was like a surprise to me. And I enjoyed it. And they really talked about some difficult things.
Yeah. That was another thing that I was so, well, apart from anything else, to get to work with Ali Liebert again.
Yes.
Because I'd worked with her in another movie where I played a country singer, which was a lot of fun. But she's wonderful director, amazing actor, and just the nicest human being. And so that was a great opportunity to work with her again. But yeah, it felt like the comments were that it really felt like that movie. It wasn't afraid to delve into the emotion and some real relationships.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, we all love the love story movies, but this was slightly different because it dealt with the sisters and the relationship with the mother. And it was a movie about, it was about family, forgiveness, but also the importance of communication, because every single plot line was both caused with the communication, the lack of or introduction of was either the cause or the solution to the problems.
Sure, so just like your character and your leading lady, there was a communication issue there too.
Yeah.
And then of course, it turns out the way it turns out, but it was like, I loved it because there was story within story within story.
Yeah.
Everybody had a little story,
yeah.
and it all interconnected. And one of the best things that I thought was great was when the girls had to come together and the men and the children went away. I thought that was cute. I loved how everybody, it was realistic.
Yeah. Matt Hamilton, he was, he pulls the kids away, and then I'm like, we're going to go and have some cake.
Yeah, you're all leaving. You're going to let them
deal with it. So,
which is like very reflective in my family. So I identify with that. Like when all of us girls, because we're more girls than men, get into it, and then all of a sudden we look around and they're gone. Like they took the kids and we're having our little, chat. So the whole thing was amazing. I just loved it. So kudos to them. I mean, Hallmark, I'm loving them. The past year, I've always loved them, but all these wonderful projects. So now when you have to come into something like the shows, all the mysteries, and it's like with an established cast and you come in, it can be, even though you're not, you're only there for whatever part, like you said, you're the person that died, so you get more airtime, or like in 101, you had, you were there quite a bit because you were her love interest. When you're coming in and you're like the new kid on the block, that could be a bit daunting, I'm sure, but I know you're a big boy. But they say, like in 101, everyone is so welcoming. And is this true? Yes.
No, it's not true. They're all awful. And you know what? It sounds like a cliche thing to say, but I've been so lucky that every show that I've been on is welcoming. But, I've heard it said a few times that actually sometimes the hardest thing to do as an actor is joining a cast when, especially if you're doing the roles I've been doing, I'm maybe filming sometimes up to 9 or 10 days between some, but so you get a chance to know people. But if you show up to a set and you're only on one day, all the things that should allow you to be better as an actor, like being able to relax and knowing people, knowing the camera operator so you can ask questions, and the director, all those things aren't really, you have to kind of very quickly. It can be very daunting, but luckily, Jill and
they're sweet, they're kind.
They were just all fantastic, and you kind of get welcomed in, and like I say, you start to run into the same people, so it's always
it is like a reunion. So you're good to go, like you and Amanda. I was thinking that when I was looking at everything. So in Raise a Glass to Love, I have to tell you that your character irked me. I love that movie so much. So that means, and I did a review about it, and I talked about it, and I just said that just meant you did your job. You were supposed to irk me. It's not that I didn't like the character, but I didn't like the character. You know what I mean? Not the actor. And I was like, well, he did his job. That was a good thing. Very self-absorbed, and what he was hoity-toity. You didn't have an accent in that one, did you?
I was American.
You were American.
Yeah. But it's a funny thing that, I was reading, because I was live tweeting at the time, And I was enjoying clicking like when people were saying, "Man, I hate that guy." And I was like, you know.
Yeah.
And then
You
when they
did
saw
your
that it was
job.
me liking it, I think that's very, very funny. But yeah, sometimes you have to, in order to serve the story,
Right.
you have to make sure that you play it a certain way that
That's right.
that the audience isn't going to empathize with you too much and
Right.
feel bad for you. You know, sometimes you realize, okay, this is my role in the movie, and this is how I'm going to play it. And if I have to add a little something onto the end of that line to make people go, "Oh, I didn't like the way he said that," and so yeah, if somebody says they hate my character in that movie, then I'm like, job
That's right,
done.
A+ for you. Like Wesley Salter, he was on for all of like a hot minute in the end of When Calls the Heart. Now I know he has a in season 8. In season 9, he has a much bigger part. He's on. He is an amazing man. And he's chatting and talking with us, and you love him. But even before we had a chance to really get to know him, the man, or he the man, what happened was people were tweeting things like, we think this is, we're going to love to hate him, like we're going to love him even though we might hate him, only because of what we saw. We don't know what's coming up. I'm talking about last season. And when he was on, I'm like, you did your job. You, like, he goes, well, I had to, he said, I kind of know where it's going. He said, this is from season 8. And he said, I was a confident. It wasn't that I was arrogant. I was confident. I'm like, okay. So he created his own little backstory. But again, we love him as a character, but we're mad at him because we're afraid he's going to cause trouble. You know, it's like this whole ridiculousness. I think there's an actual disease when you're obsessed by a fictional character. Somebody posted it somewhere, and I think that might be many of us in the chat, including myself. Now, so you're on When Calls the Heart. Oh, we all jumped on that. We saw you're in only season 9 and 2 episodes, right?
Yes, and it didn't take long actually. As soon as that was announced, it's like comment. Oh, question. You know,
Yeah, firing at you, right? You had to be so careful. It's like our little mini Game of Thrones. Did you watch Game of Thrones? Did you
no,
ever?
I haven't. I'm one of those. I'm one of those
Listen.
people. I'm sorry. I'll get onto it.
No, listen, it's okay, but one day you should. And I have a good friend who's like, I'm not watching. I'm like, you need to watch. You're going to be obsessed. And she was. So it's like you get so obsessed and you rewatch and you look at all the details and everybody wants to know everything and it would break the internet. And I'm like, we're like that little mini version of Game of Thrones. That says a lot. And you
Well, I have there's something that I compare it to with when it comes to giving away details, and that I did used to do magic as a job. When you first get into magic as a hobby, people want to know, and because you're excited about it, you want to share it as well. You want to say,
sure.
see how it's done. And then you see the look on their face, and they're kind of disappointed that you actually told them. So they think they want to know, they don't actually want to know. So I think it's like this: people are desperate to piece it together, but it's just human nature. They want to put the pieces together and figure something out. But if I was just to say, well, this is what happens, and this is what happens, I think, I don't think that would be well received.
No. So you'll be in episodes 10 and 11, which we know.
Yeah.
And what's that other little tiny tidbit you're allowed to tell us? Like you're there
So,
on
business.
That's it.
And
Right.
I'm a businessman.
You're a businessman. And
Yeah.
will you have an English or American accent?
Oh, it looked like it was cutting out a bit there, and I was wondering if people would think I'd done it on purpose. So
No. It's like a good pause.
And I will never reveal that detail again. It's. I'm sorry, I completely forgot the question. What was the?
Are you going to have an American or English accent, or maybe something totally different? You're American.
I have an American accent, which I just when I looked on the side, somebody said, "Please be British," and When Calls the Heart. But unfortunately, I'm American.
That's okay. So that's another tidbit. Thank you for sharing that. So I was thinking of something you had said in one of your movies. You were country western, like a country singer, right? A country western singer.
Yeah.
Do you have to? I know when you sing, it's different. It's almost like because it's English to American. It's not that different. But did you have to have like a Southern drawl when you were singing?
The funny thing about it was that they actually asked me to play that British as well.
No.
It was kind of an added, a little bit like there's an Australian
Yes.
Nicole Kidman's husband.
Yes. I know exactly what you mean. Okay.
But his
What
name,
is name?
Keith Urban. Keith Urban,
Yes.
he's Australian. So that was the direction we went. So it was quite funny, and I actually wrote a song. Well, no, I actually wrote the music for the lyrics that I ended up singing with the guitar. The song didn't actually make it into the movie for time, but it was a very funny song.
Oh, I love
The
it.
shame it didn't make it into the movie, but yeah, that was nice to collaborate on the music as well.
So when you come into a very well-established show, and you come in at the end of the season, we know they're very welcoming. We ask this question all the time. So who do you think was like you kind of bonded with? I always ask this question to everyone. Who, I know they were all welcoming, but anybody that took you under their wing or
So
chatted?
with these questions, whenever it comes to One Call the Heart, I'm going to take a little pause first and think,
Okay, go ahead. You
is
pause.
she leading me down a path?
No. I would never do that. No, I don't. You can ask them.
One thing I will say is that Peter DeLuise, who a director on One Calls the Heart, is a good friend of mine, and I've known him for quite a few years now. Him and his wife Anne-Marie DeLuise, who is a wonderful actor. And the great thing was I did a movie with Peter DeLuise back in 2019 called A Brush with Love, and so this was the first time I'd worked with Peter again since A Brush with Love. Wow. So that was really nice too, because Peter, having been an actor as well, or still is an actor. He was on 21 Jump Street with Johnny Depp, and he was also in Friends. That was a big when I first met Peter and he was in Friends. That was almost the thing that made me starstruck, that he'd been in Friends. Super nice guy, and as a director, because he's an actor, he very much takes people under their wings, and he understands things as an actor as well. So that's great. So I will say Peter.
Okay. Well, he's here. He's in the chat. He comes. He pops in.
I just saw the good answer.
He pops in every now and again. So now, Matthew, I know there's a lot you can't tell us, and I really appreciate though that you were a good sport and said what you did say. That was nice. Do you want to take some little questions? Oh, wait, before we do that, is there anything new that you have coming out, or you'd like us to be on the lookout for, or you can't really say?
It's something, and I hate to be a party pooper, but there was something that is perhaps coming up that I'm very excited about that I just can't say.
I get it. No, we know, we're used to that happening. We understand. That's all right. Only reason why I ask is like when Viv Leacock was on, he told us something and we're like, we're going to watch it for you and we're going to promote it, tweet it, whatever we can. So that's the only reason why we ask. Yeah. But
if you're looking further in the future, then I might be able to sort of, but.
All right. That's fine. You'll have to come back and share.
Share.
Okay. All right. We're going to go. Let's see what we can answer here.
Okay.
All right. We just have a lot of hellos. And I'm going fast. Don't look. You might get dizzy. Everyone who can see it.
Thank you. This is very nice to see everybody.
Rose says, now, you don't have to say anything to this. Rose says, please, sir, we want some spoilers. Now, even though you have that sir politeness in there, we did give you spoilers, Rose. We told you he's an American. How's that? Okay. He never said that before. You got that?
Well, I have an American accent, so take that what you will.
Yeah. Martha wanted to know if you're from England. Are you born and raised?
Yes, I am. Yeah, northeast of England, Newcastle. Yeah, and I went to, and then I went to, like I say, school in Durham, at Durham Cathedral, when a lot of Harry Potter was filmed. And then as a magician, I performed for some clients at somewhere called Alnwick Castle, which is where the other half of Harry Potter was filmed. So, yeah.
Look at that. All right. That's I love little fun facts. Every time I think of England, I think of Harry Styles because I love
Harry
him.
Styles, right?
Have you ever met Harry Styles?
Oh, we're like that. Yeah.
I knew it. I knew you. You know what? You were in the studio doing like backup vocals for him, weren't you?
That's right. Yeah. He specifically requested me.
I knew it. I knew it. Karen, Karen, by the way, I took them off. I had your earrings on today, Karen, at school. Not these. She gave me a pair of earrings. Greetings and welcome to When Calls the Heart. Can't wait to see you. See what role your role is. Oh, we do know the name. Do you want to say that? What is his name?
Yeah, Arthur Gilchrist.
Okay, look at that. The American.
Yes, the American.
She says she loves the show and she's addicted. She's addicted Hardy. Of course, we all are.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Looking down here. I don't know. I think they may have had...
My niece lives in Newcastle now. That's where I'm from. Yeah.
So, hey, do you ever...
Lillian said my niece lives in Newcastle. Yeah. And that's where I went to university as well.
Okay. You saw it. I don't know. I lost it. Now,
right at the bottom. Yeah.
Do you ever go? Oh, she must be in the new comments. I'm going up. Do you ever like, how often do you go home?
It's difficult with COVID, but recently it's kind of just been at Christmas time. But so this Christmas I was able to go back for the first time in 2 years. So I'm very close to my family, so that's it's quite yeah.
This is just a nice little comment. Music, magic, law, and the Matthew can act. Can't ask for more than that.
I'll take that. It's lovely. Thank you.
Oh, and let's see. They're just saying you're a triple threat. You're everywhere on Hallmark. I love you. Thinking about
I do worry sometimes somebody's going to say, "Oh, here he is again."
No, we say good stuff. Like we find you. We're like, "Oh, you're there." This is funny. They want to know, can you dance?
Yeah, I used to dance in my one-man show. My one-man show actually was a combination of it was called Magic at the Movies. It was actually a tribute to Hollywood. It was a musical magic show inspired by Hollywood. And one of the routines I used to do was actually singing in the rain.
Oh my goodness.
All the magic was singing in the rain themed, and I sang the song and I interacted with the screen behind me that had raindrops, and I did a dancing routine that I had properly choreographed, and so yeah.
So you do dance. So let me ask you this: where can we get our hands on that? Like, is it out that we could buy it, a DVD? We can stream it?
No, the one-man show. It was something I only did live, but it's a shame that I didn't have it professionally. I mean, I did the show hundreds of times.
Right.
So yeah, unfortunately not.
Aww. Oh, wait a minute. Do you dance? And I'm only teasing. I was going to ask if you dance in When Calls the Heart. I'm totally teasing. Don't even.
Okay. The pocket watch. There's a few questions about the.
Okay. Wesley Salter mentioned not in these words. Okay, let me say this, and then I'll go for your pocket watch. I'm sorry. This is Janine Marie. Janine Marie writes fan fiction, by the way. For like When Calls the Heart fan fiction. She's amazing. And she is also a champion of the show and writes beautiful things on social media and has a very kind way about her, even with, I don't know if you realize there was like we hate to talk about it, but people got upset over, things from last season, but it's this, the dust better be settling is all I have to say. But she said, Wesley Salter mentioned, not in these words, the intensity of the Hardys fan base. Were you surprised? Yeah, by the immediate enthusiasm of our group.
I wouldn't say surprised because, because I've followed other actors that have been in the show and I've seen things online, and being in the Hallmark family, I'd seen the community and things that went on. So I wasn't really surprised. Maybe how quickly, like I said, the questions started.
Okay.
But only in a good way. Only in a good way.
Did you get like more followers? You probably don't even pay attention to that. All of a sudden your followers grew a bit. Yeah,
I did notice, and I could tell by who else they followed and everything. Oh, it's a Hardy. So yeah. But that's all great stuff. So
something must be mentioned about a pocket watch, because Rose is saying, yes, at Peter DeLuise, let us know about the pocket watch. So I don't know, Peter. Sometimes Peter comes on and says silly things. So I want to see if he's starting trouble here. I don't know.
Good
friend.
For sure, he's a trouble.
Okay, here it is. This is from Peter. He said, and this really is, I think it really is you, Peter. It says, tell them about the pocket watch. Is there a pocket watch?
There's a pocket watch, yeah. Well, so the great thing about the show,
Okay.
one of the lovely things about working on the show is that it's like stepping back in time because you're in a real, the old town.
Yes.
And I mentioned this before, but there's a place in the UK called Beamish Museum, which is like a wartime town. It's got the trams and there's actors in the old shops and stores. And with surrounded by all the scenery and the set deck, and there's such a talented set deck team. And they gave me this beautiful old pocket watch that, you press a button, opens, and just playing around with that was a lot of fun. And the magician in me meant I couldn't help but like fiddling around with it and doing funny things with it and just becoming very familiar with it. So,
okay.
So I guess that is just about the joy of having period items and the clothing as well and everything that goes with it. Because it makes as an actor, it's just such a gift that if everything around you is of the time and things,
yes,
it
and
means
it is.
you don't have to act so much. It's like being a kid again, having playtime.
Right. And you're transported back in time because you got that whole amazing set. Yeah. And so the set, I'm trying to even realize what her actual title is, but she comes in and puts all the little pieces together. I'm sure there's a team, but she's excellent. Sometimes I'll talk to her and she doesn't give me inside information. She does not do that because I know, she can't. But I'll ask a question privately and she'll answer. And when I look at it, I'm like, oh my goodness, all the detail that they put into like Rosemary's Kitchen or even in the cafe, or then they did Lucas's office was outrageous because it has so many little things. And now we like to go back and like zero in on stuff to see if we can discover what's what. So to be able to walk on a set where it looks like that, I mean, it makes your acting easier, more fun, like you said, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything's real, so you don't have to act so much. I remember Tom Hanks talking about when he did Castaway, the movie where he's on the deserted island, and he said the good thing about that was it really was hot, and I really was wet, and I really was things. So I didn't have to act; it was just kind of happening. So it's a similar thing.
Set decorator, thank you. I couldn't think of the words. Not to be personal, but I'm going to. I'm vaccinated, all that stuff, and I still get COVID, but I work with children. Okay, so even though we're 6 feet apart, and best that we tried, I still got it, and it has taken some of my memory from me because I have a really good memory. It's like a quick thing,
Right.
So I find if I rewatch parts, I'm like, geez, I can't even speak and I forget what I'm saying. So right. I apologize. It's COVID.
No, not at all. Well, I didn't notice it at all. So
okay. Now, Rose, somebody had another question. I think it was about being then you're a magician and you're using that pocket watch in When Calls the Heart. Oh, gee, Rose, come on now, Rose. She's still trying to dig for things. You want to know what it is? And I'm sure you know this, but Rose is a big fan of the character Lucas Bouchard. And when Lucas first comes in season 6, that's what he does. He, razzle dazzles people with his magic. He hasn't really talked much about it or used it much, but maybe we'll see it come back in season 9. So any little thing that they can connect is what they're trying to do here.
I can see what they're trying to do, like just very, very cleverly and subtly, and I'm going to try so hard not to fall into that trap.
I know. Now, this question, I know that you've answered this question before, so I'm going to post it up because someone shared it. They wanted to know if you ride a horse or you drive a fancy car.
I got to sit in a car. I didn't ride a horse. I think I can say that.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. And then this is the last of my questions. Listen to me out there. I'm not going to put him on the spot. It says, can you answer if you got to experience ice cream at the new soda shop we have yet to see? Just a fun question. You know what? We don't know if there's a new soda shop. We're not sure. We saw that accidentally, maybe. I don't know. Do you get to try ice cream? Mashed potatoes in a cone?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. You don't remember? You don't
I
recall?
don't remember. I don't recall.
Okay. All right. And now Rose says, even though she loves Lucas, she says she's starting to be a fan of Arthur too.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much.
And Jill wants to know, have you been to the States?
Yes, I have. Yeah, quite a few times. Actually, I quite a few years ago, I did a show at the Magic Castle in Hollywood.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were doing your little tour, you were here.
Yeah, well, part of it, that was actually years ago, back in 2005, I did a show at the Magic Castle, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a very famous magic venue in Hollywood, and it's dedicated completely to magic. And if you ever get a chance to go.
So somehow I saw somewhere on YouTube a clips of you, though, doing your magic show. Did you realize that that's out there?
I wasn't sure if there was still stuff out there, but I know.
Listen, I feel like everything's evergreen. When it's on YouTube, it's there. It's there forever. It's why, you have to be careful what you put out there. All right, Matthew, this was lovely. We're going to say goodnight, and then you stay in and we'll say goodbye in the studio if that's okay. Yes?
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And yeah, I hope you enjoy Arthur Gilchrist in When Calls the Heart.
I know the American who might sit in a car, we're not sure, and has a pocket watch, and does a little magic maybe. We don't know. And you have something new coming out that we absolutely are going to love and want to, and you're excited about, but you can't tell us yet.
I wish I could, and I will tell you when it happens, and I can say I will.
Okay.
Let you know.
All right, excellent. Before we say goodnight, those of you out there, thank you for tuning in. And tomorrow, I have Stacey Farber on, who is from Virgin River, but she is in this really cool new movie called Butlers in Love. And when her interview is finished, I have a butler coming on. He's going to really tell us what it's like to go to school and to be a butler. And the gentleman is 9 hours away. So, is England? Where's it? 9 hours?
8 hours, I think, maybe 9 from Vancouver, anyway.
Okay, so he's going to be up at the crack of dawn to join us in the evening here, which is so nice. All right, good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.